Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of Tars Lamora. Sub-Commander Draft is here, wondering how the Enterpriseians are doing. Want to know how those folks are doing. And Commander MC is here, wondering how Ensign Garavik came over from the Kelvinverse to the Prime, because we all know that's a Kelvinverse engineering uniform.
Yeah, that does not count as my one.
I mean, I know, but it does not count as your one. There will probably be another. That's okay. How we doing, guys?
We're doing good.
Yeah.
Ish. I'm kind of sick, and I have this thing to take care of.
He's so cute.
You're holding a dog.
She really wanted to know what we were doing. So here we go.
You're She's happy? So cute.
Yes. Okay, Aliva.
And the puppy doesn't understand English, which is the whole, the best part of the whole thing. I love it. I love it.
Doesn't.
Guys, season 2 of Prodigy is 3 days away, which is pretty awesome. We've seen a lot of it. These folks are going to see it. They're going to love it. We have a lot of content coming for you, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But right now, this week, if you could believe it, I think this is the longest we've ever done in between a season and doing a full season review, because I think it's been like 2.5 years since season 1 of Prodigy came out. So yeah, a few days away from season 2, we're proto-warping all the way back to season 1, taking a look back at Star Trek Prodigy. How did we feel when the show was announced? Did we like the kid aspect of it? Thoughts on the plot, favorite and least favorite moments, like we always do, and so much more. I'm going to stall a little bit more because Giraffe is getting her mic set up. Maybe.
Well, the dog is barking crazy also, so please continue.
Well, I have to have you do the patrons because it is your turn.
I mean, I can do it. I can do it.
Wait, hold on. We're shushing. We good? Nope. Okay, MC, can you thank our amazing Patreon Collective members at the Ready Room level and above, please?
Thank you to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Ken Hui, Taco Nagumo, Fernando Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Einar, Maggie Light, Tarana Killikis, Wayne Ritz, Skonavark, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Yerdadon, Mehalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Davey Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Rude Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Aaron W., Lanky Guy, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Meredith, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, Kiltcheck, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, 3 Fries Short, Kate Tip, Tripping the Read Alert over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher CBF, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Buckwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Karen J. Robinson, Edson Lexay Pro, Eric the Red, Treble, Jamie Roberts Honeyberry, and Paul Taylor Pitt.
Well done, MC.
Good thing this list is very long because my mic fell. The dog found, it's mayhem, it's chaos.
I was getting so distracted by you.
It was brilliant. And you still killed it, MC.
1,000 degrees, and I'm sick. So yeah, great. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's do this thing. It's amazing. That was well done under pressure, Giraffe. Like really 10, no notes.
I don't know what happened. The thing was not fixing. The table was falling. The thing was crazy. It's what happened when I'm not in my element. See, I'm not at home.
Yeah, I know. You miss your studio. You miss your Tal Shiar nest.
Having the Empress just looking at me,
Yep. Also, guys, a big thank you to our Badmirals, our amazing EPs, Simon Steger, Commander Chris, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, Chris Waterman, and Tara Poland. Thank you for keeping our proto drive running, our Admiral Janeway's coffee mug full, and all of that fun stuff. You guys rock. We're going to do some very quick news. Vegas, baby. Vegas. We're going to be there. Me, Giraffe, maybe MC, maybe we're talking off mic. I'm going to put you on the spot live. No pressure. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to drink lots of alcohol, eat lots of food, play some Texas Hold'em, and play some slots and do nothing for 5 days, but hang out with my friends and talk about Star Trek because it's going to be fun. Dude, did you see? Everybody here's watched 12 Monkeys, right? There's going to be
Which
a 12.
one? The movie or the series? No,
the series. Like all of the cast of 12 Monkeys now is going to be at Vegas, which is pretty awesome as well because I think they've all been in Star Trek now. So group shot, I'm here for it. Giraffe, you have something going on Baycon.
Yeah, next week. Next week, I will be in Santa Clara, which is just near San Francisco. I'm one of the guests at Baycon, and I'll be moderating science in Star Trek panels with very cool people. We're going to talk a lot about bugs somehow. I'll also be there for some fan panels. And we'll just be around. It's a small con, so if you're local, come say hi. It's not crazy expensive also, so
that's always
can be a good moment to hang.
Yeah. Finally, patron stuff. Okay, so Prodigy. So here's how this is going to work over the next 72 hours or so. On Monday, like we would do on a normal Thursday, we are going to premiere our review of the 2-episode premiere of Prodigy called Into the Breach. That'll premiere on YouTube at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. It is pre-recorded, but I'll try and be in the chat and hang out with y'all. Some of us will. We'll chat with you guys. And then that same Thursday, normal show, again, pre-recorded. Everything for Prodigy is going to be pre-recorded. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Thursday will be our half season review. So our review of episodes 1 through 10. That'll be there. And then the week following 11 through 20. Patrons, you are getting all of that in a nice little ball Monday. You're going to get 3 episodes like that, which is pretty awesome. So if you're not a patron yet,
which we also recorded.
Yeah. Well, we actually haven't recorded one of the episodes, but we're doing that on Sunday.
Lots of recordings.
Is the huge space koala new, MC? I think they're asking you. Yes.
Oh, no. That is not new.
No,
Yeah.
not
The large
not
one
new.
is. The smaller one is new.
Okay. But if there's any questions about how we're working and doing our Prodigy thing, you could always reach out to us on email, Discord, whatever. We are here to answer your questions. Speaking of patrons, I'm very late getting you the Discovery stickers out. I've had 0 time, and I thank you guys so much for bearing with me. I also didn't have enough, so some patrons got some at Trek Long Island, and I will start shipping those out to you as soon as possible. So sorry for the wait. They are coming. Love y'all. Finally, Heroes and Villains, our friends over there, you can get 20% off your first order. I'm not wearing anything tonight because this shirt is just super comfortable. I'm sorry. But you can get 20% off your first order there using our code STRANGE. They would like your business because their stuff freaking rocks. And I will, I think I'm wearing a Heroes and Villains shirt in our pre-recordings. So you can see one of their shirts in those on Monday. So
the one in Latin,
one in Latin. That's right. Do you guys think they cook something with Chakotay and Janeway? Because I do. Like, you mean romantic? We're not.
We can't say anything.
We can't say anything. We can't say anything until Monday. So you're just going to have to wait and see. And that is a non-answer, by the way. Yeah. So should we do this thing? Should we talk about Prodigy season 1? Because we never did this.
No, let's not.
No. Should we just leave everybody and go do our own thing? No, we love you. We're going to do this. It is our Prodigy season 1 look back and deep dive. Captain Hawk is off tonight. He is taking a break. And Vice Admiral Eric, you'll actually see him for the next 2 episodes, but he'll explain why he's not here tonight on Monday's episode. But Eric is actually going to be gone for a few weeks, but you'll find out more about that on Monday. So our order tonight will go MC, Draft, and me. Nice and simple. Let's just talk real quick about when Prodigy was first announced, and also announced as a kids show, which was being co-produced between CBS Studios and Nickelodeon. What were your guys' first reactions to that, MC?
Well, I think Prodigy was either announced or was coming out very early in my actual Trek fandom. So I was still like catching up on everything else. Like, I think I was probably watching Discovery when and I watched Discovery way sooner than like TNG and that kind of stuff. So I was not like, oh my God, I absolutely have to watch this, because I was, panic binging all of the Star Trek that had come before it. And it was, a kid's show for Nickelodeon. So I didn't know really what to expect. I mean, it looked kind of cool. Like, I liked the character designs, and I liked that it wasn't a bunch of humans. So I thought, oh, this is going to be a cool thing that I can show my niece in a couple of years when because I think she was like a year old at the time, and in a couple of years when she's old enough to appreciate it. But I don't know if I'm going to be into it.
Fair. Giraffe?
I do not remember. When was that announced? Like, I'm racking my brain, like being like,
it came out 2.5 years ago. We've been doing the pod for 4, like I'd say like 3.5 years ago. It's been.
I know I did the whole season 1 of Prodigy. I reviewed the whole season, but
yeah,
it was announced super early, and I don't know, because they were announcing a bunch of shows at the same time at that time. There was like, I think it was just the beginning of
Lower Decks. It started.
Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they were announcing like Picard, maybe. No, Picard was 2020, 2021.
Yeah, it was
I
before we
don't
started the podcast.
remember.
I know, like it's a blur because of like pandemic as well. I know we did an episode on it and the announcement. I think we did an episode on the voice cast, but like we start getting up in the years of this podcast, and it's actually hard to remember some of this stuff.
I barely remember which season I actually reviewed with Stranger Pod and which one I just listened to. So
Yeah.
So I just looked it up. The first mention of Prodigy was in January 2019.
Oh,
but
so that
they
was
didn't.
before the podcast.
Yeah, but they didn't like seriously get into an announcement like till like August 2020. So
in the same time than Lower Decks. That's why I have the two like picked
Yeah.
together like that.
Yeah. And we were like
I
3
remember
months old.
that I think that for me it was all like, oh, they're doing animation track. Cool, because you know, I like the animated series because I'm insane. And
I love the animated series too.
yeah, you're insane too. So not disproving
Fair.
what I'm saying. We're all mad down here.
It's facts.
So no, I was just like looking forward to more Star Trek, and I'm always interested in the animated format because you know you can do more things and you can do more episodes. So I remember this. I remember they'd give us a peek to, I think the opening credits. Wasn't that the first thing we've seen, the opening credit or something
Yeah,
like that?
because like I actually was pulling your guys' video for the pod tonight for your favorite and least favorite moments. And the first video I ever have for Prodigy is the opening credits, which is funny because we did our AMA with Aaron last week, and he said the credits were done like 3 months before the show came out, but it's the first thing that they like gave us. They gave it to us super early. It was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember that I found the opening credit just gorgeous, and then the music was fantastic. That's pretty much all I remember.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we had like 52 episodes of Star Trek for a year. So
Dude, I remember that. That was a marathon. It was just a marathon. We have lots of comments. It's happening right now. I know Don Power Rangers in the chat saying Prodigy's their number one series right now, followed by Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, which are all good picks. Gene's here for our madness, which is, you know, on brand. For me, I was actually really most excited at the time for the Nickelodeon aspect of the whole thing, because it was supposed to be, I think, like debuted on Nickelodeon and on Paramount Plus. Of course, as we know now, that didn't end up happening, which was a bit of a shame. It did end up on Nickelodeon later, but it was, you know, I loved that like kids just could go on Nickelodeon and happen upon an episode of Prodigy when it came out, which got me really excited. Again, it didn't end up happening, which is disappointing. But like for me with having kids, I was like, okay, this is great. Even though they immediately fell in love with Lower Decks, which, you know, not a kid's show, but it might as well be. So yeah, I was stoked. I just wish that they had followed through. This isn't a spoiler. What I find interesting about season 2 is when the opening credits roll, it still says CBS Studios, which is right because it is a CBS studio production, and it still has Nickelodeon Studios. So I'm wondering if season 2 will somehow make it onto Nickelodeon at some point. That's something we'll have to ask Aaron and folks. Yeah. So that's what I was excited about. Let's talk about Kate Mulgrew, because that was the big like, oh, they're really like swinging for the fences with this kid's show. Kate Mulgrew returning as Janeway, kind of as like the Miss Fizzle, right? For these kids, like Magic School Bus style. How did you guys feel about that when it was announced, MC?
First, I'm going to say that it's Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle.
Miss Fizzle.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all know who I'm talking
actually-
about. Always got to correct me, MC.
I have to, because other people will do it for me if not me.
Okay, that's fair.
Anyways, Kate Mulgrew, I was very excited about. I like Janeway. I especially like Kate Mulgrew, and it does add an air of legitimacy to the show. Because, like I said, when I first heard about it. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a kids show. I don't know how it's going to fit into the wide Star Trek of it all. But you add Janeway to it, and all of a sudden it's like, yes, this is very much Star Trek.
Yeah, nice. Giraffe?
Well, I think it reassured me for the crap. Can I say crap?
Yes, you can say crap, 100%. You could say crap, damn, and ass.
Okay, I learned like a few days ago that I couldn't say damn. And I was like, why?
No, you
I
can
was
say
like, no,
damn.
you can't say
I
damn.
was told at
Okay,
a very young age from my grandmother that damn is not a curse. So, damn,
yeah, I
damn is
mean,
allowed.
I don't know. Confusing. Anyway, I was bracing for all the crap that, new show can get from fans online, especially when they are targeting kids. It's not the true show. It's not canon. It's not this. It's not that. So I know that having Kate Mulgrew, I was thinking, oh, a lot of people are not going to dare call that show not canon or not Star Trek if Captain Janeway is in it. So I know it reassured me in the idea also that they were gonna put themselves in the great story of Star Trek and not do something totally sidelined, totally out of the universe. Because other fandoms have done that, a kid show that, not gonna point fingers, but that are not really into the great story of the fandom. And I'm glad that Prodigy is not like that. Like, it's clearly referencing things that we all know because we're Trekkies. So no, it's great. And more Kate Mulgrew content, I can't complain.
Yeah. Same. I really don't want to talk about fandom not calling this real Star Trek because I'll go somewhere completely different, and I don't want to go there right now. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. But I was stoked. Giraffe's raised Romulan eyebrow, Star Wars. But I will keep my mouth shut tonight. I'll be a good boy. I'll try and be a good boy. I really want to do an Accolade podcast so I can tell people to be quiet.
Be a good boy just because I haven't watched the last episode yet, and you already spoiled me the last time we did a podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
I'm gonna be quiet now.
I want to do the Acolyte podcast.
Me too. Let's do it.
I have opinions.
Oh, you raised your hand.
Sorry. Wait. I can undo this. Here we go.
Sweet.
Here we go. Hey.
And now MC's on the bottom. We switched places. It's like musical chairs. I love it. Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been having this discussion now for a little bit, whether, Deep Space Nine or Voyager is my favorite Trek. And I love me some Catherine Janeway. So when they did the announcement and she was talking with the Hagemans, and it's just like, it was so meant to be. And she's kind of the perfect captain to, hand that Miss Frizzle role. And not that she was exactly Miss Frizzle, but like, it worked, and I really loved it. And the character I Hollow Janeway now is like so beloved by all of us. So it really turned out for the best, and I'm so happy. Giraffe is the captain now.
I am.
Should we move into Act 1? Do we have any thoughts about like the show's announcement? I know it's been years, so it's like hard to remember. Yeah, no, let's talk about the actual show, which might be hard to remember too.
We're like 12 seasons of Star Trek in between.
I just rewatched it with the collective. So, collective. I'm gonna, when you guys are talking, have to pull up some names because there's a contest I have to pull for, and I forgot to do it. So we'll do that as when you guys are talking. Let's move into the actual show. I kind of broke it into 2 acts, and the first act is Tars Lamora and the eventual return to Tars Lamora. What do we think about the way that Dahl and the team kind of had the protostar land on their laps, right? They just kind of happened upon it. Then escaping Tars Lamora and having Hollow Janeway greet them upon leaving. It's like 2 episodes worth of content right there. But just like that 2-episode premiere, MC.
I I mean, they're dumb kids. How else was it going to happen? I mean, if you're going to have a show with a bunch of teenagers, you can't have them come across this state-of-the-art ship in any other way than dumb luck. It happens in everything. Like, you think about The Force Awakens, where the Millennium Falcon is just, happens to be on Jakku. That's just the way these things work, where the ships just happen to end up where the heroes are. So
Fair. Yeah. Giraffe.
I really like the fact that it didn't start like any Star Trek show we've ever seen. Because I've always been asking for a Star Trek show that was not Starfleet.
Yeah.
Like, and I like the fact that we start somewhere, we don't really know where we are. It's not Risa, it's not Earth, it's not Utopia Planitia. It's not a place we know. And the kids are all from species that we're not really familiar with.
The only ones are like one-shots.
Yeah, Rock Tak is in like somewhere in Voyager TNG. I don't remember her species, right? And that's all.
Zero is from
and
TOS.
Zero, yeah, in TOS, yeah. But so I really like that because it was opening into a little corner of Star Trek that we've never really seen. I like the fact also that they choose not to be this perfect utopia where everything is good, because we know there are places where everything is not perfect. And I love that they started the show like that. I know that it got a lot of criticism from many people that expected a kid show, but for me, I don't have kids, so there's no kid show. The show is for me. I'm always the target audience until I decide that I'm not the target audience. So no, I really like that. And that they found the product star. Listen, it was good. I didn't want also to spend like 5 episodes on Tars Lamora of them running around and like, oh, if only they had talk, oh, if only they had like been a little bit lucky. I hate when shows do that. So yeah, let's get to the meat of the story and give them a starship, because that's all what we want. Like, they're not Starfleet, but they need a ship,
Yep. Yeah. I was shook like early on in these first 2 episodes, like that they just straight up showed a baby, like not a baby, but like, a very young Cation being sold into slavery. And like, Star Trek's hit on some subjects before, but like they took the kids show quote, the kids show, and gave us that. So you knew early on the show was not going to mess around, and I really appreciated that. Yeah, of course there's a little luck. They literally fall onto the starship. It's there. But it's fun and it's beautiful, and it's a great way to it's actually a really unique, I don't maybe want to say unique, but it's a really fun way to also introduce us to all of our new characters, right? Because we pretty much get them all within those first 20 minutes. And by the next episode, if you did watch it in 2 parts, they're all together on the ship and we're in space and we have Hollow Janeway like ready to go. I completely agree with Giraffe. 2 episodes, one and done, like on Tars Lamora, and then we're getting the adventures that these kids go on for the next 20 or so episodes. Gene brings up a great point. They talk about genocide and settler colonization as well. Like, the show
I mean, slavery. And child
like I said, slavery. Yeah,
and...
like they didn't mess around at all, and I was appreciative of that. Like, it's wild. So, I would say perhaps, and you guys can disagree with me if you want. Put what you think might be it, but
we don't agree.
Okay, I like it. The biggest arc in the first act of season 1 is Gwyn going from a puppet of her father's to really seeing him for who he is and becoming a member of this ragtag crew. Thoughts on Gwyn's arc, these first, I think it's like 4 or 5 episodes where she finally disowns him after he chooses the protostar over her MC.
I mean, definitely she has the deepest arc. That's the most character driven. Like, I mean, other characters have arcs, but she's the one who's really developing as a character. And I love her. She's so badass in the first couple of episodes, and something that carries through the entire season. But I mean, I think in the first few, she's, just peak. And I think it's important to have that one character who is most outside of. You always need to have an outsider, like having everybody come together right away is boring. And this is one of the problems that I've had with, and I mean, I know we love Voyager, but it's one of the problems I had with Voyager, where, you had maybe 2 episodes of the Starfleet and the Maquis not really getting along, but then they kind of just dropped that. But having a character who, they keep Gwen locked up for several episodes. So it takes a while for not only Gwen to basically deprogram, but for the others to trust her. And I think that is a sign of deep characters, as opposed to the idea of Starfleet has no conflict and everybody gets along with one another.
Yeah. Giraffe?
I'm going to say something maybe that is wrong. So
I like
the internets are going to correct me, I know, but I like the fact that they are broken by by a lot of terrible things happen to them, and they don't trust, which is normal when you've been abused, lied to.
Are you talking about the kids or the Volnicott?
The kids.
The kids, okay. Yeah.
The dog bit my foot.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
And so in other shows, all the characters have these tragic backstories, but they're insane stuff. My whole family died in a fire. I mean, not insane, but kind of grandiose, shuttle crash, and oh, my dad doesn't like me. But we're super rich, even if there's no money. We all know that because I'm the son of an ambassador, and these kids had troubled and problem and abuse in the past that I kind of personally could relate to, a parent that lies to me, a parent that uses me, a parent that has not good morals. That I think unfortunately there are a lot of kids that live in these situations, and there's not a lot of us that have the dramatic backstory of the Starfleet officers that we see in other shows, But these kids, there's something that is the way they want freedom, the way they want to escape, the way they don't trust Gwen, but also the time it takes to deprogram Gwen, because that's all she knows, and that's also everything that she can. That's her stability that she has to undo. I think it was great to see this Gwen's arc, because they took their time. And it was the first time in Star Trek where, people were not, not in Discovery. I'm going to be honest. Discovery takes time with the characters' arcs also. But they all have also grandiose backstory. Look at Michael Burnham. That's tragic in a theatrical way, when these kids, it's not that they were trafficked, and so I understand that they take their time with Gwen. I really like that they did that. I like the fact that they were not just happy-go-lucky once they were free, and that it took something enormous for Gwen to let go, because that is what it takes usually. It's not a question only of time.
Right. And with Gwen, it's so much conditioning on the diviner's part, right? Because I feel
she was created.
Yeah, she was literally created. And I think what's interesting about Gwendala's relationship with the diviner is that I think the diviner, as we see, if we fast forward literally 19 episodes later, he does love her, right? And I think he used that love as a weapon, at the beginning, what we're doing is for our people, I love you and I love our people, and this is also our people can have a future. And that's really like bad stuff, you know, when you're having your kid also be the one that's doing your dirty work. Yeah, so I love Gwen's arc. I love when she finally is able to let him go and warp the ship away. They couldn't have gotten two better actors to play these roles too. And Purnell, right? What's her first name? Ella Purnell.
Ella.
Yeah, Ella. And then you know, John Noble is just, you know,
Go
brilliant.
watch Fallout if you've not watched it.
I need to. I know.
You've not watched it?
No.
Ah, go watch Fallout.
I will. So anyway, I thought it was wonderful. In between all of this, we have Dahl's growing pains in becoming a captain. We have Rock being stuck in, you know, the time loop for possibly decades, which is just heartbreaking, and a lot more in these first few episodes. How did the show handle everyone's journey here for you guys, MC?
All of the characters, I mean, when it comes to Star Trek, I think there's always going to be some characters that fall behind the other ones. They tend to pick out like their 3 characters that they're going to really focus on. And with Prodigy, I'd say that those 3 characters are Dahl, Gwen, and I'd say Rock, probably. And I think Prodigy is better than a lot of the other shows in that they do have stuff for most of the characters. But I love Zero, but Zero does not have a lot to do in the first season. There's maybe like, I'd say 2 episodes that kind of focus on them. But there's not like this ongoing plot. There's kind of the one thing that I would call like an ongoing plot is the whole driving the diviner mad and the guilt that comes from that. Yeah. But the thing with the Borg that happens in an episode, and there are some echoes of that later on, but I felt their character got kind of lost. Jankum is more about being kind of funny, which is, I mean, Jason Mantzoukas is really good at being funny, but
Correct. Sorry.
I don't. It's okay.
You don't watch A Good Place. You watch A Good Place. Tell me you watch A Good Place.
No, I have absolutely watched The Good Place.
Okay, wait. Can we sidebar real quick? And no sidebar.
Yeah, I know what you just said. I know what you almost just did.
I know. MC, keep going.
But yeah, Jacob's mostly there to be funny, and there isn't like a huge arc of the character. I'm delaying the fact that I don't really want to talk about Dahl.
You don't have to talk about Dahl. You could talk about everybody but Dahl if you want.
I should talk about Dahl a little bit because Dahl is the main character. And I think what bothers me about Dahl as the main character is I think Dahl is the least interesting of all of the characters. It is very much we think the show is going to be appealing to little boys, or this is what we're trying to get the show to appeal to. So we've got to have a little boy as the captain. Meanwhile, Gwen should be the captain.
Yeah.
And Rock is up there with Zero as like my favorite character in the show because Rock is just the most pure cinnamon roll of any character in any Star Trek. And bringing up the whole possibly being stuck for decades, that line from Janeway about it being a very long time like chills me to the bone.
Oh my God, me too. Yeah. Draft.
Yeah, sorry, there's a bird. So
Wow, you got dogs. It's raining cats and dogs.
He's losing his mind because there's how do you do this on the daily?
Lots of alcohol.
Okay. So I have to say that I like the fact we get information on all the characters in that first season. None of them are left behind. None like Ortegas. Strange New World.
Wow.
Pre-season almost, like a third season coming. We better learn a little bit more about one of the main cast. So, and I think it's the beauty of having 20 episodes also. I mean, I know they're only 20 minutes, so it's not... I think it's kind of the same running time than the 10 episode season.
It's still different because I mean they
It's
can
still
do
shorter,
like one-shot
do
episodes.
more stories. Yeah, absolutely. But now that A plot and B plot is dead. No, but I feel they really gave us a lot of information, like everything we needed to know on like this first season for us to start understanding the characters and what we felt about them in the first part of the season. So, we didn't like Dahl, we didn't like how Jenkum talked, we didn't like, this and this and that. And I like the fact that every time there was something that was disturbing to us, then they just stabbed us in the heart in the second part of the season, being like, well, let me tell you what Jenkum speaks like that. And you're like, oh, emotional damage. Let me tell you why Rock is so careful and doesn't want to get too emotionally involved with people. Bam, emotional damage. So I really respect the fact that they did give us a little bit, but every single one of them, Zero lost their families. Rock, was sorry, Rock, with all the circus thing and so on. So I feel they were beautiful arcs because it helps us give leniency to these characters. Me at first, at the beginning, I was annoyed by Dahl. I was annoyed by Jenkum, and then you're like, oh, they actually thought through these characters and why they're acting like that. And I feel that it's like getting to know somebody and being, everybody carries something. Everybody carries a pain, and these kids too. And I think that I truly learned to love Dahl during this first season. His whole arc about finding who he is and finding his parents and finding that in the end that he has none of this. It's very different to be, oh, I'm an orphan, or, I've been abandoned, but he doesn't even have that. Which
Dahl's sorry, Drift. Dahl's great because he's what Rey should have stayed in Star Wars. Like a nobody.
He's a Force baby.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So I think they did great at this. Sure, there are main characters, and I think the main character of the show had been Gwen, in my opinion. She's the one we get the more info about, that we see a lot of her emotion, and I mean at the end she loses her memory, so there's this whole connection to Zero also that she creates because of what happened. But I feel that they're all together. It wouldn't work without one of them, even Murph.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's interesting that you said that about Gwen because, I kind of just always felt like Gwen is the main character of season 1. And I don't think that this is spoiling anything either. I think Gwen's still very much the main character of season 2. I think that Gwen is the story. Like, I don't know.
Her arc drives the story.
It does.
Yes.
Like, you don't really have a story without her. So I don't know. I've between her and Rock, they're my favorite characters. I won't bore everybody with the Eric and I, hated Dahl for so long because, like what Giraffe said, Dahl grew on me a lot. And the episode I want to focus on is Kobayashi. Like, that episode is so good, right? Where he takes the Kobayashi Maru like how many different times, and it just delves into chaos. And he really does want to be a captain, even if he's unsure of himself. Like, it is what he wants, and that episode really shows that. And I love his I love his moment with Spock at the end of that too, right? Like, it's just so powerful and so good. And I think that's really where Dahl, even though he stumbles a little bit throughout the rest of the season, he really starts to kind of make that like hero's journey. So, yeah.
Well, he also grew up with Ferengi,
Yep.
which I think explains a lot about. Sorry.
You're good.
Dahl and the Ferengi.
Yeah, no, that's all I had to say.
That actually reminds me of, like, I have a very dark Dahl theory, which deals with Dahl being, you know, raised amongst Ferengi. Dahl has a notch in his ear. I'm almost certain that came from his Ferengi guardian.
Oh, like a brand?
Like a punishment, because I
Oh.
don't think like that would be like the worst thing that a Ferengi could do to anybody
Yeah.
is harm their lobes.
Yeah.
I mean, he has big lobes, let's be honest.
Yeah,
for
he
known
does.
Ferengi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, MC.
By the way, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Matt Harker, I love it when MC goes dark. Oh,
Let's
man.
mutilate some kids.
Yeah, let's do it. Finally, you know, they end up going back to Tars Lamora to face the Diviner. And you know, they win, they save the day. Babycation gets their moment, which is awesome. And we get the Admiral Janeway reveal at the end of Act 1 that she is on the hunt for Chakotay, also finding the Diviner. Meanwhile, the kids, with their victory, take the Protostar. They're finally gonna go find Starfleet. What do we think about that kind of mid-season, you know, big battle type of feel, MC?
I thought it was really good. I thought it really, you have it broken up into Act 1 and Act 2. And I think that it very much does function like that, because the two parts are incredibly different from one another. And it's when you have that like mid-season finale, it's absolutely game-changing, which is not something that I think Star Trek has really done well, having like the mid-season like switch up. And part of that might be because of the 20 episode season. But I love the bringing Admiral Janeway into it, because we had Captain Janeway, the holographic version, and they are extremely different characters. Like,
Yeah.
Captain Janeway does have that basis of the real Janeway, but is missing how many years experience? Like 15?
10 or 15, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe?
something
Yeah.
like that. And just there's also the heartbreak of losing Chakotay, because, and I'm not saying this as a JC shipper, but maybe I am saying it as a
Yes,
JC
you are.
shipper.
Just say it. Just say it.
I mean,
Come on.
the thing is, it's like that's how much that they're into each other, that I don't ship it, but I do ship it, because it's obvious. And I think that Prodigy makes it even more obvious. So this kind of more, I don't want to call her cynical, but like this more beaten down. Janeway spent 7 years in the Delta Quadrant trying to get back home. And yet I feel that Admiral Janeway is more beaten down. And I like that.
It's called getting old.
I mean, I was actually thinking that myself.
But you know what's interesting about that too is that this is a Janeway we learn from Firewall, who is not impressed with Starfleet and its bureaucracy, and that has worn on her. Not just losing Chakotay, but just we know that this is a very dark time for the Federation as well. Like becoming more introverted, using almost Tal Shiar-like tactics. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. Yeah, she's a little bit beaten.
Which book?
Firewall, the 7 of 9 novel.
Oh, I've not read it.
It's very good.
Are there Romulans in it?
Yeah. That's right, Gene.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's changing your pod after dark.
Giraffe, the finale of
Yes.
Act 1. The big battle, Tars Lamora, the diviner going crazy, Janeway finding him, going to find Starfleet.
Yeah, the thing is, I was not ready for a season of 20 episodes, so it just felt like a normal season. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, we're getting a second season right after that. So I think it was very well done. And it was that year where they cut also Discovery in half, right?
Yes, because we have a double episode somewhere, a couple of double episodes.
Yeah, and I feel for Discovery that was a shame because that didn't work at all. But for Prodigy, it came to a good moment to reveal all that, and that's where we get to see the Dauntless. No,
Yes, we see the Dauntless for the first time, which is
that was cool.
the ugliest starship ever made.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I thought the Dauntless was cool.
Oh, it's awful.
Okay. On which criterias?
It's shape.
If Giraffe actually cares about a ship, don't put her down by saying she's wrong.
Yeah,
in
I'm
her
like,
opinion.
oh,
Giraffe,
it's a
I
cool
love-
ship, and they're like,
I love
"No."
that you love a ship. It makes my heart warm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like the Dideridax also. This
Yeah.
is the only two I
the
know.
two ships. I'm sorry that I yucked your yum.
I was like, okay, fail again. See, I'm definitely not a ship bro. I don't even like the right ship. Well, I thought it was cool because she has a badass ship. Oh, sorry.
That's what the censor button's for. You're good.
So yeah. But also it was not as bad as a season finale because we knew we had 10 more, so that was cool.
Did you say
I like that.
Did you say S or A? The S word or the A word?
The A word. I say it what? Bad butts.
You could say that one.
I can say that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. You really need a list.
Yeah, we
We
actually
already
should.
had this
We really do.
conversation.
I really liked the finale, the 2-part finale of Prodigy. I really dug the whole bait and switch aspect of it. Again, a commonly used trope that Prodigy did very well. I loved hiding the Protocore in Zero Suit and hiding Murph in Zero Suit. Like it was brilliant. It was really good. I don't really know what else to say. It's just it was fantastic, and it definitely, we waited, I think, almost a year. I have to go back and look at our episodes for the back half of season 2. It was a long wait. Oh my God, the chat. I love you guys so much. Amazing. So let's go into Act 2. Before we do, we are going to announce all over the past week, we have been watching our 2 weeks Prodigy Season 1 on the Discord. Our Collective One stickers, which have yet to be designed, but will be soon, and you'll get them sent to you. But meanwhile, one of you...
Am I supposed to be doing that?
No, I had a design and I never did it, and I'm gonna have you do it. I'm gonna tell you what I want and you're gonna draw it for me. Because you're the best. Yeah. And now I'm lost. Okay, Blu-ray. We're doing the Blu-ray announcement, and our winner, who's gonna go home with Prodigy, it's on a full box set. You have to buy them separately, but you'll get both 1 through 10 and 11 through 20 is Mars. So congratulations, Mars, from our Discord on winning the Prodigy Blu-ray. Yay. Let's go into Act 2, which is the Protostar's journey to Starfleet, right? Sorry, I really shouldn't have had beer on the show, even though I do every single week. And now I'm burping, and I apologize. They kind of run into a hiccup here because the Volnicott construct that could destroy the Federation is on board the ship and actually destroys a Starfleet listening station, and you get that slimy Denobulan guy who I hate so much.
Forgot about him.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
He's a total jerk. What did we think about this wrinkle that they added to start the back half of the season, MC?
I think they needed to put that in there. They needed to put in this conflict where it's not just, oh, we're trying to get to Starfleet, because we've already seen that show. We had 7 years of that show, and that also had Janeway in it. So by introducing this wrinkle of if we actually get to Starfleet, then we're going to accidentally destroy Starfleet, makes things more than just we're trying to get somewhere and we're going to have some wacky adventures along the way. You actually create more stakes because they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And as we know, they don't really actually, it doesn't work for them. So I think that's interesting to introduce this thing that can't actually be fixed.
Yeah, agreed. Giraffe?
I feel it really, gave real, how say that, like objectives to the show. It was not just, oh, let's explore and let's go home. It was like, oh wait, it's not that simple. So I like that because basically before the living construct, they could just arrive in the Alpha Quadrant and then explain what they did, and then we were good, right? I feel it really added a layer of the story, and also it really put the Valona cat on the map of the plot, because we're like, oh wait, there's like another layer of the story. And I like that we discovered we discovered that story like the kids, basically. We go deeper and deeper in what the plot is in the way they discover it. So I really like that, because I wouldn't have liked to know about it before they knew about it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Like we all found out at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, cool. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening this second half of the season. The problem is that I don't know what is in the zeitgeist that everybody is doing that virus thing with the ships, because we literally had it 3 times on the same year. And I'm like, none of you speak to each other? Like, I know it was not exactly the same story, but it was exactly the same story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe we're producing too much Star Trek, that we start being I'm in it, like we're producing too much Star Trek. Giraffe, CEO of Star Trek, hello. That we start they start being redundant in the story they choose. And I know we're all part of the same culture and we all read the same book and we all have the same frame of reference, so it's bound to happen. But inside the same franchise, you'd think that once Lower Deck did it, and then Picard, and then Prodigy did it, and then Picard did it, in that order.
I think that's the order. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Picard was before, because Picard was in between the two half of the season. No, maybe not.
Which was the virus of Picard? Was that 2 or 3?
It's 3.
3. So that was the last one. Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, you think that Starfleet, even in universe, that Starfleet would have something but even Discovery kind of did it with Control.
Oh, they 100% did it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 4 series doing it, and you're like, in universe, you'd think Starfleet would have something in place to stop that, and then in fandom, you'd think people would stop writing the same, or just talk to each other and maybe not write in the same year. But I like the Prodigy way. I think I liked it because it was linked to the Valona cat, who have a true purpose. If you compare to, sorry, I'm going way deep on this.
No, that's good. Please.
No, it's good.
And so, for example, if you take Control is a thing, right? Control is an AI, which was surprisingly clairvoyant of Discovery, by the way. I need to rewatch this season too. So it's not a people like the Valona cat, right? If you take Picard, it's yet again the Borg, and I think we're all kind of done with the Borg at that point also. And I don't know that they kind of count as a civilization. I don't know. We can debate about this, but
Yeah.
And then Lower Decks. was internal to Starfleet. It was kind of an AI also.
Yeah.
So it was very close to Discovery. And I feel Prodigy was the only one where I could really relate to the intention of the people who were doing this, who were like, basically, we got destroyed because of you. Our planet is in shambles and our civilization and our society is broken because of that first contact. And we want to protect ourselves and stop this from happening. And I'm like, fair.
Yeah.
Like, fair. I don't think it's right to do that to other people, but I do understand. Like, I understand Essentia. I understand the Diviner. Like, I don't agree with them, but I understand why they would do it. They make sense to me that they would be driven to this extreme.
We have a really good conversation about this coming up in our episodes. That's not a spoiler because it's from the trailer. You know that they have their rematch, but there's a really good conversation about Essentia as a villain, right? Like, and if she really is one, right? Because she's doing what's best for her people. Like, it's a really interesting.
I'm going to speak about Star Wars.
Yeah.
You're going to be sorry. But like in Star Wars, it's all a question of point of view, right? We're like with the rebels because we're like, oh, like they're the good guys, right? And fair, they are the good guys, right? But they also blow up the Death Star and like kill a lot of freaking people. You know what I mean?
I think it's more, I think it's more the argument later on when they eventually win and then they become just as bad as the Empire, right? Like
exactly.
You can make that, yeah.
But there's like always, I don't relate to the Empire. I don't really understand why they're doing it. I'm like, they're just villains. They're just they're here with their fascist like uniform and so I don't really, right? I feel that they are very good villains where I'm like, these guys are not totally wrong. Like, I get why they're doing it. They're not just villainous, like, and so that's why I like the Valnakat. I feel the Valnakat are raising a very interesting point in Star Trek. That the expansion of the Federation, I want to bring peace, order to my empire.
Your new empire. Don't get me started. I'll do the whole thing.
So, like, the Federation want to bring peace and order, right? Peace and liberation and peace. And we're just rooting for the Federation because we're like, they're the good guy. But on the other end, like, look what they do to Risa. Risa, I'm going way into things, but like Risa was like deforested to become a luxury resort, right? They like manipulated even the weather of the planet. Look at what happened in Insurrection. Like, there are very good legit question about what the Federation is doing, and Prodigy raising the question of the Valnakat and how a first contact done wrong or first contact done too soon or a first contact done even with people that didn't want to be contacted, like, can lead to tragic aftermath. And I'm like, good for them. Like, bite back. Like, let's go. So I think this second season really brought even more depth to the story of Prodigy. And even if it's a kid show, I was me with my love of Federation politics, right?
Yeah.
Really into all this story because it's also taking place at a time just before the Romulan supernova, right? It's just before, right? Just like a few years before, right? And or just at.
We technically can't talk about that yet.
No, Darcy's talk about it in.
Does he?
In season 1, he speaks about the. No. I don't remember the season 2.
I'm just trying to see if there was actually a star date for.
It's because we see the Romulans in season 1. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's right. No, they talk about Jellicoe says it. Yeah.
You freaked me out.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Season 1 is it's like in this time period, right?
It's happening. Yeah.
And we know that like sure, the Roman's not a problem, but we also know from Star Trek that when the supernova happened, it leads to even more problem for everybody around. So these like butterfly effects in politics and sociology at the level of a galaxy are super interesting. And I love that Prodigy did that in the second season, to be honest. It was like one of my favorite parts.
And by second season, I just want to make sure people understand she's saying the back half of season 1, right? That's what you mean.
The back half of season 1. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
We're not giving spoilers, promise.
No, there is no spoiler in what I said.
Yeah,
I swear.
None.
At all, 0.
Well, now I'm Hawk, because how do I even think about following that up? I can't.
What was the question? I don't even remember what was the question.
No, I mean, you answered the question.
I don't remember either.
No, it was about the living construct, and you just gave a TED talk on it, and it was really good. Like, it was fucking.
Thank you for coming to my TED talk.
I just broke my own rule. It was freaking awesome. So, the only thing that I want to say is that like I said at the beginning of the season, they just went for it with being pretty dark and bleak. And then here we are again. The thing destroys the listening station. But on top of that, that also shows that darkness that Giraffe was just talking about within the Federation. The dude ditches them to die. He literally does not let them on the escape pod. So their first interaction with Starfleet is this scaredy cat, I want to swear and I won't, like, ditching them to literally die. And I'm like, all right, Prodigy, here we go again. You're just gonna, like, this show just fired on all cylinders all the time. And when it came back, it just did it again. So bravo. The living construct was just really cool. And each episode that they had to deal with it was really interesting. And I like the slow burn of it. It was like Giraffe talked about Star Wars. I'll talk about wrestling. It's like a really good long feud in wrestling where there's this like build up and build up and build up and build up. And then you finally see it. You see the whole thing ignite. And in this case, it's not two dudes beating up each other. It's the big red circly thing that they can't kill. They can't transport out, that they have to find a way to deal with. And part of that is not going to meet Starfleet. So there's the next question. This leaves them with alternate paths and alternate ideas on how to get to their final destination, which seems at this point super out of reach. This gives us the episode with the Borg. This gives us All the World's a Stage, a trip into the Romulan neutral zone. How were these middle episodes for you guys, MC?
These middle episodes were absolutely fantastic. I think that the Borg episode is one of the best Borg episodes we've had probably since, I'd say, Voyager. And All the World's a Stage is my favorite episode of this season. I think that, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, that the 10 episode season, as much as that is just going to be the standard, and we all have to get used to that, having 20 episodes for Prodigy really lets them let loose, because even though it's about the same amount of time actually when you binge it, because 20 half-hour episodes is the same as 10 hour-long episodes.
Right.
It's not the same, because you are able to do 20 stories. And yes, you do have the ongoing plot line, but you're not going to be covering that in all 20 episodes. You're going to be able to do one-shot episodes where you do All the World's a Stage, which has barely anything to do with the main plot of the season. You just kind of check in on, yeah, this is a thing that is going on because this is the world that our main characters are in. But everything else is about this one strange new world that they visited. And we don't get that in a lot of the other Star Trek shows, where you get to just do we're going to go to a planet and there's going to be an adventure. And it's in these episodes, these one-shot episodes, that I think you get the standout episodes. When you get the ongoing storylines, there's not really a lot of them on any of the Star Trek shows where people point to one of the myth arc episodes and it's like that there is my favorite episode, because most of them bleed together. If you look at Strange New Worlds, what are like some of the favorite episodes of that, which is like the Lower Decks episode, which doesn't have anything to do with the
Elysian
main
Kingdom.
I was gonna say the Elysian Kingdom doesn't have anything really to do with the main plot line.
Quality of Mercy.
Quality of Mercy. Going all the way back to like something like TNG, you got Yesterday's Enterprise, which absolutely does not have anything to do with the main plot, because literally only one person even remembers that it happened. And
Masks.
I think
Little Green Men.
I'm gonna leave now. But we
The
don't
chase.
really. Seriously, I'm gonna leave
Too soon.
But I think that we're actually able to get that in Prodigy in a way that we're not on the other more serialized Star Trek shows, and even on something like Strange New Worlds, which they say is episodic, does actually deal a lot with an ongoing plot line. And it's in those one-shot episodes that I think we get the most character development, that we really get to actually like dig into people, because it's not like an end of the world thing
Right.
going on. Like the Borg episode, that's where we really find out the most about Zero. All the World's a Stage is something very special. It is, the love letter to Star Trek. But even in, what am I trying to say? But I always feel like these one-shot episodes are the ones where we really kind of develop our characters rather than in the big milestone moments, because that's about serving the main plot and the one-shots are serving our characters.
Well said, MC. Dang. Awesome. Giraffe?
Bring back filler episodes. No, for real. Like, it's also what makes the fandom. It's also what makes the fandom. Like, everything that MC said is true. It's like it. But as fans, I can tell you that most of our favorite episodes are like crazy filler episode. And they're also the one that inspire a lot of cosplay. Like, people will reference like these weird episodes that they made because they needed 24 of them in the 90s. I mean, Mask is one of them. I see people cosplaying like Masaka is walking like all the time. And it's hilarious because it is also how we recognize each other, because when you're not really like crazy into Star Trek, you know the main plot, you know who Spock is, maybe you watched the show when you were a kid and you know the general gist of the story. But it gets a fan and a special little like craziness to be, I know about the lizard babies. But it's true. It is true. And look at what our people...
Lizard babies?
Exactly. Who are people... I just got you a better one right now, like with a mic.
I think you did, yeah.
You can like...
Update it.
You can update this one. But look at which characters people are cosplaying from Prodigy. They're cosplaying the Enterpriseans. Like in Vegas last year, there were like 13 of us. 13, 14, I don't remember. We're a bunch of Enterpriseans going around. And it's because these episodes are special, and these episodes are like out of like the drama of the main arc. And I think I love them. I love them in Prodigy. I thought they were the best episode they've done. We talk about the one of the Borg or what to say. Kobayashi Maru is also a filler episode. I mean, filler. I don't like the word filler because it has like...
Kobayashi, I think, is my favorite episode of that season. Like, it's
it's like this bottled episode. When I say filler, it's just like they're not.
It's
really
a character episode. It's all about Dahl's character journey. So it does relate to the main arc, but it's not in the manner.
but,
Yeah,
like,
it's exactly what I was talking about,
Yeah.
where it's just like the filler episodes or the character episodes.
But yeah, Prodigy gave us some of those episodes that I think are the best that Star Trek has
Yeah.
done for a long time, because first the animation, so they have more freedom. But also they really know their Star Trek very well. And if you look at Lower Decks, who's, because it's also animation, it's funny because look at what, like, Lower Decks references a lot of these episodes. Like, most of the jokes in Lower Decks are like random, like, Easter eggs from like insane episodes. And I would say that if all Star Trek had always been like 10 episodes long with like just the arc, Lower Decks, I'm sure like Lower Decks
It would be
not
one
this
season,
funny.
right? It wouldn't have
Yeah,
lasted.
you would do, like,
yeah.
all the jokes, end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't reference Sub Rosa, then
Sub Rosa. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
it was
Do you
also
not
the
want
90s,
the
let's be
Condell
honest.
Beverly? Oh my God. I just, as far as the back half goes, I don't want to rain on Giraffe's Romulan parade, but I love the fact that we got Romulans. Like, it was just awesome.
Why would I be mad at that?
No, I know. I just, because we share the Romulan brain cell. They were sexy. Like they made a kid show Romulan sexy somehow. Like, it just was awesome. The leather, the guns, just everything. And then you got
the guns.
You got like
the guns.
You got Murph Fu out of that too. They gave us Jellicoe in this back half of the season, being same old Jellicoe. We get a kid-friendly Borg episode, which I feel like is almost an impossible thing to do, and they did it so well. Like, the animation
Gorgeously.
team, the writers, gorgeously. Like, it's just insane how good. Like, listen, there's barely a bad episode of this show, but this back half just fired on all cylinders with everything they did, and I want that to lead into our next episode, which is Preludes. We had the pleasure of talking with Aaron back a few days ago. He did an AMA on our Discord. He was part of the writers' room that wrote this episode. This gave us almost all of our characters' backstories in a 20-minute episode, which is crazy somehow, but they did it well. I want to get your thoughts on Preludes and what this episode did for our characters, MC.
this is an amazing episode that would be good to do some form of this in every Star Trek, because how many characters do we not know what their backstory is? And I do think it works in Prodigy especially well, because they're brand new people. I mean, they're just teenagers. So there's not a lot of backstory that they have to cover. And also, they were all in such a bad place when they all come together. And not only that, they're all alone. And that's what all of the backstories were being shown is. It's like, how did this character end up being alone? And it's, as Giraffe said before, they don't have the Starfleet standard issue, dead parents, tragic backstory. They do something interesting with it. All of the tragic backstories are very fitting with the characters, that we can actually see, oh, this is what happened to this character and this is why they act like this. So instead of it just being a example of tragedy happens to these characters, it is something that actually develops them personality wise.
Yeah, agreed. Giraffe?
Oh, I want a backstory on Murph.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
I don't think we ever will, and I'm here for it. I would like Murph to be a mystery. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Murph gave us his backstory. We just
can't understand.
We're not
it. Yeah.
smart enough to get it. This is possible. Well, I talked about it a lot. I think Jancom and Rock Talk are like, the characters that surprised me the most. But I think it's good that they give us this perspective, because I think it made a lot of us change our opinion about the character.
Yes.
And I think that's beautiful, because we see a lot of character growth, so we grow with them, right? Like see what's his face in Discovery, Stamets. Like when you watch like Stamets first season and Stamets fifth season, you're like, oh, we grow together, my friend. Like, brother. We're older, we're wiser. But Prodigy did it differently. It really got us into the train of like they're annoying, and then we're like, well, wait a minute. So I like that, and I don't think our shows really did that. I think they tried to change the perception of the public that the public had about some of the characters, like Buckley, for example.
Yeah.
But not really this way, and I like it because I think it's also a life lesson. Like you find people annoying, but then maybe they're annoying for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I want to say is I hated Jank and Pog for the longest time, and this episode I think made me like get a little bit emotional at Jacob, and I'm like, I will fight anybody who tries to hurt my Jankum, and now he has a home on my desk. There he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How far I've come. Like you said, I grew with these characters.
It taught you to not,
judge.
to give people space.
To give people
before
space.
judging them.
Exactly.
Then when you learn their backstory, you can judge them.
Exactly.
Listen, kids.
Oh man. Yeah, I love him, and I can say this is not spoilery, but I just continue to like Jankum in season 2. So that's progress. That's a good sign.
That's cool.
That's growth. Yeah, it's growth. It's growth. Finally, the kids are like, we're gonna go to Starfleet. And I actually don't think it's their choice. I just watched the finale. I forget exactly how they get to the rendezvous with all the Federation ships, but they're there waiting for them. Essentia, being the great villain, quote unquote, that she is, opens a channel to the Dauntless because they've snuck aboard, and all hell breaks loose. Starfleet ships firing on each other. We're almost certain this is the reason Worf goes, we don't talk about that when it comes to the Enterprise E. The Defiant shows up. It is a crap show, and it's just a really well done 2-part finale. We get the big battles. We get Gwyn having to be the translator of, every species that comes to help. We get Janeway's sacrifice, and finally, out of all of that, these kids in a shuttle with no navigation somehow find their way to Earth and get accepted into Starfleet as warrant officers. I mean, so much in this 2-part finale. How did you guys feel about it, MC?
I think that this is one of the stronger finales of modern Star Trek. I think that we were talking before about the repeated use of AI and taking over in Starfleet, that this is probably the best use of that, because it also was something that was built as a threat over time. And I personally liked how this story ended up culminating. I do think like the whole thing with the protostar, I know back when these episodes were airing, Giraffe had a theory that this actually helped cause the Romulan supernova, and I like that theory.
You did have that theory for a little bit, I think.
What?
Yeah.
The protostar actually kind of caused the supernova.
You had a Romulan theory for a while. I know what MC's talking about.
Oh no, I had the theory that the living construct is what disrupted the synth on Utopia Planitia.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
Destroyed the ships.
That's right.
That's why all the ships were destroyed, because of the living construct infected them. Because I was like, it's Mars, and then Aaron Walkie went on Twitter and told me it's not Mars, and I was like, well, okay.
Well, I
think it
do
was
remember
a good story.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember specifically how. Because
I swear you did have a Romulan theory. Though.
There was a Romulan.
There's always a Romulan theory.
Let's be honest. There's always one. Give me a second. I can find a new one.
Specifically, there was one about the supernova, and of course,
I
it
was
because
like,
I like
they're
anything
gonna
to do with kill.
they're gonna need to like throw the ship into a sun to like destroy it, or like the Romulan are gonna take it, steal it, and like throw it into their. But anyway, we know they're responsible for this. I have multiple theories why they blew up their own sun. Like, hold my beer.
Janeway's sacrifice, I feel that it was something that had to happen. It is something that the real Janeway would have done because it is the Janeway. There are many Janeways, and sacrifice happens to be one of them. And that we have Admiral Janeway come into things kind of makes Captain Janeway redundant. And also, Captain Janeway is safe because she might seem real, but she's not real. She is an AI. And we need to get these main characters into the reality of the Starfleet and of the Federation. And that means interacting with the real Admiral Janeway. And Janeway, of course, is going to Janeway and get them in as warrant officers. I would not expect anything less from her because that's what she does. She adopts strays.
It's so true. It's so true. Giraffe.
What was the question?
the two-part
finale.
The chat is asking me things.
the
I'm like,
two-part finale, the Battle of Starfleet, Janeway sacrifice, them becoming
yeah, I mean,
officers.
like, you know that. I mean, I'm not really excited about space battles, because it's a lot of ships, and I don't understand why they're all facing the same way, because it's space and they should not. But I'm always very excited when there's a Janeway in a space battle, because she has 2 bajillion torpedoes for no good reason, and that she's gonna light you up. So I'm here.
That's
I'm
the
here
other
for this.
Janeway.
It's so they're like multiplying torpedoes. Like she throws one and she has 5 more out of nowhere. It's like exponential.
Like
she's got a cheat code on board her ship, right? It's like up, down, D, right, 3 times, and quantum torpedoes for days.
And you know that she's gonna do something insane. Like, she's the wild card, right? You're like, this woman is gonna have some idea that nobody had, and that's going to be absolutely wild. So I was excited for that, really. I also really like when they realized that they should ask help from other ships, and we get to see the Vulcans, and we get to see the Klingons, and I thought it was cool.
Giraffe,
really
you back in the day, like when we were reviewing that episode, like stand that Klingon hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about this, but now that you're telling me, I remember the feeling. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Klingon was hot for no reason. I mean, except for us, and I praise Prodigy. Thank you. Like, yes, I feel the biggest change. Welcome to my second TikTok. But the biggest thing that New Trek has brought us is that they gave us eye candy for everyone, for everybody, for women, for men, non-binary folks, everybody will all get eye candies. And thank you, Star Trek, for this. Thank you. Hot Klingons.
Yes.
All day long. Klingons. Sorry, is it's still PG?
Yeah, no, it's PG. It's totally PG.
Okay.
That's PG.
Yeah. Man, I love this battle. I love the stakes of the battle, and I'm actually going to talk about this in my favorite moment, so I won't talk about it too much here. Janeway sacrifice, I still get choked up, even though she, like you said, MC, she's safe, she's not real, but she still was like the kid's den mom, and that hurts when you lose your den mom. It just, we didn't talk about it. Matt goes, Daddy Okona. I thought that was maybe a low point of the season, but Okona, yeah. You like to have an Okona in there?
I like the insanity of Okona just being, again, we were speaking about filler episode, being in one episode of TNG that's not even good, being a ripoff of Han Solo, and somehow showing up.
Yeah, good point.
Lower Decks.
Yeah.
and Prodigy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, the zeitgeist, you know.
Yeah. I really, I think it's beautiful. I mean, in both senses, like when the protostar is destroyed and you get that beautiful just nebula that it creates is just gorgeous. And then you have real Admiral Janeway defending them at their hearing, right? And you know, putting respect in their names. You know, I thought those were just such great moments, and the fact that they all get in, and you know, you pretty much get the setup for season 2, right? Like. We know that they're going to end up aboard Voyager. We know that Gwyn is going to Solemn. And it's just, yeah, like MC said, it is one of the better finales for New Trek. And I was very happy with it. Any other thoughts on on season 1 before we get into our least favorite and favorite moments from the show? Good?
No, we are waiting for the order, chef.
Good. Let's do it. We are going to get into the orders. I'm on the wrong page. Sorry about that. Here we go. So.
No.
What?
No. Who is answering?
No one's answering. I was asking if you wanted to. It was if you had any final thoughts. We don't have to if you don't want to.
It's a very good season of Star Trek. Go watch it if you're not watching, because now it's on Netflix and everybody has Netflix, I think.
I think everybody does have Netflix. You are
second.
Right.
I second that.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk, because I always say this, I don't like to end on a negative. So we always do least favorite moments first. MC and Giraffe share their least favorite moment. So,
chat, do you know? Do you want to try to guess
well,
which is our least favorite?
Put it in the chat right now, as we play it. I'll play it in 3, 2, 1. Here it is.
I know.
Promise me we'll see each other again.
We got this far, didn't we?
All right.
I rewatch it and I still don't like it. So, you know,
Yeah.
great choice.
I like the kiss. I'm a romantic. We already talked about this. I'm a
We've
romantic.
talked about this before. Yeah.
I'm a
Well,
romantic.
you know, again, we're not against kissing.
No, I know.
We ship a lot of people, MC and myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. It came out of the left field. I felt it was just the weird thing.
Yeah.
Like here and now
Yeah. Fair.
for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah.
It's like
I
temper.
try to rile up Tara.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Creating problems for the chat.
I didn't like it mostly because it felt perfunctory to me. You know, Dahl is the main male character and Gwen is the main female character, and they're both the most human-esque. You know, they're not human, but they're, you know,
Yeah.
they've got the general setup.
Humanoids. Yeah.
Yeah, so of course we're gonna hook these two up, and I don't like that, especially when it's a show geared more towards kids, because it does feel like it makes it a necessity.
Yeah. Fair. So
Ship Murph.
there you go.
Coward.
Ship Murph. Let's do it.
Orville did it.
we
You
left-
can do it too.
We left Hawk's least favorite and favorite moments in here because we thought he was going to be in the show, and I had already put them in the outline. So this is a unique one because for Hawk, it's his least favorite moment, but it's also like a powerful moment. It's not like that he didn't like it. It's just sad. So we don't do this often, but this is kind of a different take on it. Here is Hawk's.
We love seeing how happy we made the fans. But the fans weren't happy to see me. And suddenly, it wasn't fun anymore. I thought it was just pretend. But maybe I am the monster.
Yeah, Rock's backstory is sad and devastating.
Ugh, it's raining on my face right now.
Oh. but
I mean, I understand why it's sad. I thought he chose the one where Janeway says too long. I think that was like, for me, way more tragic that after all that, Rorschach ends up also spending years in a time loop.
yeah, I mean, that's like the
Yeah,
super
that's true.
devastating one. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he's mostly the most interesting characters, I would say.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed. I feel like if people, it's a refresher, but this is my least favorite. I'll explain after, but here it is.
Captain Janeway?
I prefer Vice Admiral Janeway. Is there something I can help you with? Can I help you?
Didn't expect. I was on my way to. What's it called?
Try stringing a few words together and we'll start from there.
Yeah, it just drove me, like, this is my least favorite episode of the season. It just drove me crazy that none of these kids could just spurt out like, we're in trouble, we need help. Like, there's 5 of you and not a single one of you could just be like, help, please. I get that it's a kid show and I know that they're young, but at some point the odds are just not there for one of them to make the right decision, and that drove me a little bit crazy. So
Mhm. And that was like the whole reason why they were,
that
heading towards Starfleet.
exactly. So anyway, let's move on to favorite moments, and we will start with Giraffes.
We know we're not Starflight, but you don't need a real ship to believe in what it stands for. What about you? Do you believe Dal-RL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect line for all the fans. I think it was the first time there was a really fan-centric episode in Star Trek that was not parodic. Because we see fans like with the Doctors when like he teaches music to people and so on, but like I think it's just a beautiful line. We don't need a ship to believe in things. You don't need to. So be more like the Enterprisian. Wear silly costumes. Yay!
Tara says that's the best line of the season.
Yeah, that's why I know it by heart.
Yeah.
Like I gave it like in a second. You asked and I was like,
You did. You were so quick. The first time you've ever been the first to do your homework. It was amazing. MC, you're up next with your favorite moment. Here we go.
This is Ensign Garabik of the USS Enterprise. This will be my final call to Starfleet. Hoping you'll come. Though I've long given up that anyone will hear it. Hope's a funny thing, isn't it? I tried to do my duty. Salvaged what I could from the wreck. Went to save the locals from the danger.
Shields up.
Before I fell to my injuries. But then, they welcomed me. Healed me. Gave me hope when I had none. In the end, they were the ones who saved me.
It's so good.
"Aw."
It's so great. Giraffe and I are the same person again, because our least favorite moments are exactly the same and our favorite moments are almost the same.
The best episode. It's the best
It's the
episode.
best.
I will fight anybody that tells me that Where's the Stage is not the best episode of Prodigy.
It's so good. It is so freaking good. It hits me right here in the feels. This is where the feels are located for everyone who's watching the video.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's the perfect, as Giraffe was saying, that anytime Star Trek itself addresses the fans, it's like a parody. But this is what Garabek is saying is Star Trek talking to its fans, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it has, a special personal place for me because when we did the table reading of it, Aaron Walke did the Ensign Garavik lines. So it's just always, when I think of the best parts of Prodigy, I think of that.
Nice. I love it. Oh my God. Your
Also,
cat looked like a
it's the
hooded
only-
figure real quick, and I thought it was Anakin Skywalker. It was so weird. Oh my God. Sorry, Draft.
And it's also the only episode that speaks about another culture that doesn't have warp without like treating them like they're children or imbeciles.
Yeah.
So
This is
Good
true.
job,
And he's from the Kelvinverse.
And he's from the
Oh,
Kelvinverse.
yeah, yes, that too. See, theories. We
Yeah.
have so many of them, and some of them are bunnies.
Oh man. Okay, so now we are up to Hawk's favorite moment.
Proximity alert. Vessel detected.
What the hello?
Whoa, what are we even looking at? Is that a ship?
A Borg cube. We must leave at once.
Hold on. What's a Borg cube?
The Borg are a race of enhanced humanoids, mindless drones that assimilate everyone they come across into their collective.
So yeah, the Borg. Wild. I mean, and it's again, like, it's so well how they did them, and I know Hawk specifically liked how they just rolled up on it, and Janeway's alarms just like immediately went off.
I mean, if somebody tells me we must leave at once, I'd be like, yes. I follow you. Like Brett Gray here when he plays that line, hold on, like it's most probably the least black thing he has ever said in his life. Like somebody's like, we must leave at once. This is dangerous. No, hold on.
Oh my God. No, you're so right. You're so right. Oh. Finally, we will do my favorite moment. Here goes.
What are they doing?
Saving us all.
Yeah, so I love this not because of the pew pew pews, even though I like the pew pew pews a lot, but I like it because of the stakes that this battle has, not just because of all the destruction then and now, but what this means for what just happened to Starfleet only a few short years ago during the Dominion War. They are just starting to recover from this, horrible war where millions died. And now here we are again, like a good portion of their fleet being decimated by one of their own ships. And the stakes for them to go and basically have to sacrifice that ship and sacrifice someone that they care about to make sure that it stops happening. I mean, I don't know because I haven't finished season 2. Like, I have no idea what the stakes are, like what this means for Starfleet. But like, I feel like the stakes have to be high. They still have to be high. Like this had to have, like, they lost the Enterprise E in this battle. Like, it's not every day that you lose your flagship. So
We all know it's because of Worf.
I know it was totally Worf's fault. So I don't know. I just I loved this moment. I really did. And I love that Janeway when she's just like, they're saving us all. I thought that was very
And
well
the music
delivered.
is so good.
Nami. We didn't even speak about
Yeah.
Nami this whole episode. Nami.
I want to add that, like, Prodigy is, I mean, she scored Q&A in the short track, and that was all. And she was the first woman to score for Star Trek. It's like that sink in. Short track. And then she got Prodigy, did an amazing work, and now Strange New World. Give her a movie, Star Trek. Let's go.
Yes.
Yep.
Petition for that, fans.
Yep. We are going to wrap up the show before we get to the mailbag with one non-spoilery thing each that you were excited for people to see in Prodigy Season 2. We'll go in reverse order. Giraffe.
Non-spoilery?
Yeah, it can't be a spoiler.
I know, but
You can come up with something.
filler episodes.
Filler episodes. That's a great answer. Nice. MC.
Development for characters that I felt needed more development.
Ooh, very well done. Sailing. And that's all I'll say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then if we can do that, I could have done better, but okay.
No, that's not a spoiler. You get nothing from that word.
Okay.
Are you going again?
Ship decks.
I like it. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
You'll know when you get to that episode, fans.
Oh man. Yeah, Gandalf's now a honorary member of this podcast, by the way. Adorned.
Yeah, he's acting ensign.
Warrant Officer Gandalf. Let's get into the subspace to poll and mailbag. And who wants to take the to poll? Anybody?
I guess I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna be here in a second.
Okay.
Are we waiting for me?
We are.
Yeah, I thought you said you were gonna do it.
I'm almost there. Sing, do something. Juggle. Wait, what? I can't find it.
No, we'll have to pay Gene Roddenberry money.
It's because you didn't put it in the. I have it. I went to the Discord because
I didn't put it in the Discord. I was bad.
See?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I have it. Subspace people. We asked Trek Twitter what they thought about Prodigy Season 1, and this is what they had to say. 66% said Jenkins loved it. 30% said it rocked. Nice. 0% said dreadnought. And 3% said hero to zero.
Who hurt you 3%?
Who hurt you 3%?
And let's continue with the mailbag. MCQ, take NY Rowlights, please.
NY Rowlight wrote, I was skeptical when Prodigy started because it was geared towards a younger audience. But that disappeared when I saw how they successfully built a storyline that appealed to viewers of all ages. I will gladly rewatch All the World's a Stage at the drop of a hat. Any hat. But my favorite moment is how they made Starfleet's attitude in season 1 of Picard more believable, giving the double body blows of the living construct and the destruction of the Utopia Planitia shipyards.
MC, can you do me a favor for the audio version? Can you reread the last sentence, because I accidentally made a big noise here.
Okay. But my favorite moment is how they made Starfleet's attitude in season 1 of Picard more believable, given the double body blows of the living construct and the destruction of the Utopia Planitia shipyards.
Thank you. And I will read Collins, who wrote, I was curious but open. Once Dahl mellowed out and softened after Kobayashi, and what an episode. I was all in. I loved the sincerity and camaraderie they gained. I especially enjoyed Hologram Janeway and how she became so fond of them, their surrogate mother. Amok time, heartbreaking, or time, I think it's time Amok. Heartbreaking, yet so very heartwarming. Losing Hologram Janeway, so very bittersweet, yet leading them where they ultimately wanted to be. Favorite moment, the impressions of each other done by Brett Gray and Kate Mulgrew. That was a great moment. Agreed. And I laughed and laughed. I loved it. I really don't know how one could find much fault with the show overall. I feel like that's basically what we said all night. It's totally true.
Yeah.
Back to you, Giraffe. If you could read Jedi Cats, please.
Jedi Cat wrote, I wasn't sure what to expect, but Prodigy had me from the first notes of the theme song and the stunning 3D animated visuals. I was so impressed by how the show geared for young viewers achieved the feat of being accessible to all ages. It's so beautifully crafted. The animation, writing, cast, and character are A+. It's hard to pick a favorite moment from such an outstanding first season of Trek. The episodes that most stood out for me were Kobayashi, Time Amok, and All the World's a Stage. It was fun to see the return of characters such as Jellicoe or the outrageous Okona. And I think the Protostar is one of the most gorgeous starship in Trek. I am so excited to watch season 2, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for season 3.
Yeah, season 3, please. And MCQ, take Matt Harker's.
Matt Harker wrote, Prodigy Season 1 had something for everyone. I think that it's a thoughtfully written piece that provides a gateway drug for anyone into the Star Trek universe, including hopefully future generations of fans. One of my favorite things about the show is to see how easily kids can latch onto the characters and the story and the conversations that can lead to. I do hope Prodigy's new lease on life at Netflix will get us at least a couple more seasons. Go fast and live long and prosper.
Love it, love it, love it. And I will take us home with Tara, who wrote, I think, a couple of limericks for Prodigy Season 1. Tars Lamora hides a ship in its depths, which our ragtag crew accidentally intercepts. Hollow Janeway guides their instruction. They save the Federation from total destruction, and a new assignment from Starfleet is theirs to accept. Now on to Voyager A to find missing Captain Chakotay. Can Gwyn help Solemn survive? Will the rest continue to thrive? Please give us a happy outcome for Admiral Janeway. That was great. Well done, Tara. I loved those. That was beautiful.
I think Tara should publish them at one point.
Listen, yeah, seriously, get that book out. Get that Paramount money. For real. Friends, that is going to do it for this one. We really hope you enjoyed it. We will see you, not us live, but our avatars of a pre-recorded selves. We'll see you this Monday for our review and deep dive of the 2-episode season premiere of Prodigy Season 2. It's only been 2.5 years.
Come say hi to in Bacon.
Yeah, come say hi to
hi.
Giraffe and Bacon. We'll see you next week. For Giraffe for MC, I am Julian. Live long and prosper. Sarcastic Vulcan salute. Majram, good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.